The opening theme of the link-click Bridon Arc series shows this scene of Cheng Xiaoshi dragging Lu Guang to play at the basketball court. I noticed many fans being very happy upon seeing Cheng Xiaoshi holding Lu Guang like that. It made me very, very happy too. But I think there's something more to it. Oh, before you continue watching this video, please be warned that this video contains spoilers of the first episode of the Bridon Arc series or Inktopian, although I think most of you have seen it already or wouldn't really care anyway. But I understand those who are not comfortable with spoilers, hence this warning. You're welcome. Now, about this scene, it begins with the camera focusing on just their hands, and it's Cheng Xiaoshi firmly holding Lu Guang's, and he pulls it. Then on the next scene, this time the camera is focused on the part where we see not just their hands, but their full arms are visible. We don't see their faces here, and I think it's because their facial expressions weren't necessary to be shown in the first place, since the focus is on the part when Cheng Xiaoshi pulls Lu Guang from where Lu Guang was standing. And Cheng Xiaoshi didn't simply pull him. You see, on the succeeding scenes, Cheng Xiaoshi continues to hold on to Lu Guang and drags Lu Guang along towards their destination. Maybe these camera angles were just for aesthetic purposes, but I think the creators also want to emphasize the actions which Cheng Xiaoshi was doing here. Let's try to look into this scene more closely. So, it begins with Cheng Xiaoshi holding Lu Guang firmly. It doesn't really matter whether he was holding Lu Guang's hand or just his wrist or his elbow or any other part of Lu Guang's arm or body or clothes. What's important is that Cheng Xiaoshi was holding Lu Guang firmly. Yes, I'm emphasizing the word firmly because I cannot say that he's holding Lu Guang tightly. When you hold someone tightly, you might hurt them, right? So I think firmly will be a better term since with the way Cheng Xiaoshi holds Lu Guang, it is secured enough that Lu Guang couldn't get away from him, but at the same time, not harming Lu Guang. And when you're holding onto something firmly, it means you don't intend to let it slip away from you, right? I think Cheng Xiaoshi's intention is the same. Now, the next action is when Cheng Xiaoshi pulls Lu Guang to his direction. This is somewhat by force, but on Cheng Xiaoshi's case, it's not due to ill intentions. It's like when you need to pull someone in haste to make them evade approaching danger, or when you are being pulled out of your bed because it's time to wake up and go to school, even though you want to sleep some more. So, it's like Lu Guang was being pulled, but it's for Lu Guang's sake too. So this pulling isn't for Cheng Xiaoshi to force Lu Guang to do what he doesn't want. This pull is actually what Lu Guang needs. As for the last action, it is when the first two actions are put together, still holding on to Lu Guang and pulling him towards a destination. This action is like Cheng Xiaoshi is dragging Lu Guang towards a destination so that they can reach that place together. So to summarize, I think there is significance to the actions wherein Cheng Xiaoshi holds onto Lu Guang's hand, pulls it, continues to pull and hold onto it as he drags Lu Guang towards their destination so that they can reach that place together. In other words, how do I explain this? I think there is a message behind these actions. It's like Cheng Xiaoshi is telling Lu Guang, "You're coming with me. No buts." I suppose we can summarize it further with Cheng Xiaoshi assertively saying this to Lu Guang. "Come with me. Come with me." I think this is applicable to various scenarios wherein these actions may have different purposes but can still be concluded to the same point. I'll try to further elaborate that idea by sharing some moments as examples. The first moment is on this scene from the opening team, which refers to their first meeting at the basketball courts. I think it should be safe to assume that during this time, both of them were alone. Well, Lu Guang was literally alone, while Cheng Xiaoshi doesn't have a comrade that can help him win in the basketball game. Even if Lu Guang is an introvert who enjoys being alone, it doesn't mean that he doesn't need other people. He also wants to be with people and to talk with them. But I think Lu Guang is the type who doesn't initiate relationships. He won't even initiate a conversation unless it's absolutely necessary. So he needs someone to initiate a link with him. Fortunately, he meets Cheng Xiaoshi, who initiated the beginning of their bond. Coincidentally, Cheng Xiaoshi is in need of a companion as well. Although Cheng Xiaoshi is the type who can easily make friends, he still needs someone he can totally click with. I think his criteria for that is simply by being a perfect basketball partner. Then everything else follows. Now that Chen Xiaoshi had discovered that perfect partner, there's no way he's letting Lu Guang go. So he holds onto Lu Guang firmly and drags him along to play with him. It's like Chen Xiaoshi is saying, for us not to be alone anymore, we can be each other's companion. It's a win-win situation, right? There's no way you will disagree with this. So come with me. I will lead you to the place where we can play together. And even after they played together already, Cheng Xiaoshi didn't stop persuading Lu Guang to play with him. Again, he will even wait forever for Lu Guang. That's how much he's not letting Lu Guang go. Now, on this moment, when the trio were on their way to the studio from the cosplay convention, Lu Guang had decided to not enter the studio anymore. He must be thinking that he might be able to save them if he distances himself from them. So Lu Guang tried to run away, but he was held back by none other than Cheng Xiaoshi. So we have it here again. This firm grip. The way Cheng Xiaoshi holds onto Lu Guang here is like he is not letting Lu Guang escape. He even says, "How can I leave you alone?" It's like he is thinking that he cannot leave Lu Guang by himself, or else Lu Guang will be in some sort of trouble. But I've heard that the actual meaning of this dialogue in Chinese is a little different. According to Google Translate, this sentence means it's really worrying. Those of you who are fluent in Mandarin might understand it better. But my interpretation for now is that Cheng Xiaoshi believes he cannot leave Lu Guang alone because he is worried that Lu Guang will be in trouble if Cheng Xiaoshi doesn't keep an eye on him. Cheng Xiaoshi didn't even give Lu Guang an opportunity to tell his excuses. And even if Lu Guang tried, Cheng Xiaoshi wouldn't care. It's like a parent holding a child's hand firmly while they are in a crowded place because of the risk of their child getting lost in the crowd. Anyway, it wasn't directly shown, but it should be safe to assume that Cheng Xiaoshi was dragging Lu Guang with him until they reached inside the studio. So, from the moment when Cheng Xiaoshi held Lu Guang's wrist and somewhat forced him to go inside the studio, it's like Cheng Xiaoshi is saying, "Where do you think you're going? You should come with me. Of course I'm not letting you escape. You're not going to get yourself into trouble. Not on my watch." You know, if Lu Guang was really determined to leave them, he could have just still run away, even after he went inside the studio. Cheng Xiaoshi must have let go of his hand at some point, like maybe on the time when Xiaoling started asking them what they're going to eat. But nope, Lu Guang was still there. I think Lu Guang stayed because of two reasons. First is that deep inside, he wants to be with them anyway, and he just gave in to his desires. Second is that if Tiaoling is nearby, he has no chance of escaping anyway. She said she was part of the track and field team in the past after all, or perhaps Lu Guang simply gave up. He cannot win against Cheng Xiaoshi when the puppy is being so insistent anyway. Oh, here's another moment. It's the time when Lu Guang rescued Cheng Xiaoshi on this scene. Vivian told them to run away and not to worry about her. There is urgency on the situation. If they want to escape, they need to do it fast. With Cheng Xiaoshi's kindness and hero complex, I think he would have wanted to persuade Vivian to join them in escaping. And since he is the sacrificial type, he might even volunteer to stay behind and hold back the criminals so that she can escape safely. But Lu Guang was there. Yes, although Cheng Xiaoshi is indeed a self-sacrificial hero that would prioritize everyone else's safety over himself, he actually has priorities, particularly these two. So of course, he cannot let Lu Guang be in danger. To him, Lu Guang needs to be away from this dangerous place as soon as possible. Lu Guang, on the other hand, seems to be more worried about Cheng Xiaoshi's injury. He might have started treating Cheng Xiaoshi's wound already if he had the first aid kit on hand. But anyway, when it comes to dangerous situations, and when he's not the only one affected by that danger, Cheng Xiaoshi is the type who is very quick to take action. So, right after Vivian says that they don't need to worry about her, Cheng Xiaoshi trusts her to handle things on her end and focus on his priority, which is to bring Lu Guang somewhere safe. So Cheng Xiaoshi firmly holds Lu Guang's hand and drags him out of that place as they escape. So this is like Cheng Xiaoshi is saying, it will be dangerous for you to stay here. So whether you like it or not, come with me. I will lead you to a safe place and we're going there together. Running away together was necessary. I think Cheng Xiaoshi had considered the option of making just Lu Guang and Vivian escape, but he knows that Lu Guang wouldn't ever agree with that and might even volunteer to take on that role. It reminds me of this scene from season 2. Lu Guang doesn't really want to cooperate with the hostage exchange, but he finally calmed down when Cheng Xiaoshi told him that he had a plan. Cheng Xiaoshi needs to assure Lu Guang that he's going to be fine as well. So, back to this moment, there is no guarantee of Cheng Xiaoshi being fine if he is left behind, much more while still wounded. And that is why Cheng Xiaoshi chose the option of running together with Lu Guang so he can force Lu Guang to escape. If they are escaping together, Lu Guang will also have the peace of mind of seeing Cheng Xiaoshi not being in danger anymore. Oh my god, these two care about each other a lot. Like in extreme levels. It's crazy. Well, last but not the least, on the opening theme, we see Lu Guang alone on this road at the beginning, right? Then around the end, we see him with both Cheng Xiaoshi and Xiao Ling on this same road. And of course, we see Lu Guang's hand being held firmly by Cheng Xiaoshi again, and Cheng Xiaoshi is pulling Lu Guang to the direction where Xiao Ling is. This scene of Lu Guang walking alone at the beginning most likely symbolizes what Lu Guang has been doing in his time travel so far. He is bearing the responsibilities, the burdens, and the sins of traveling into the past all alone. But at the end, there is a scene that is parallel to it, but this time it shows him not walking alone. I think it meant that he should not have been walking alone in the first place. After all, he has companions who will share all those responsibilities, all those burdens, and even all those sins with him. Cheng Xiaoshi is showing how he is insisting Lu Guang to stop doing it alone as he pulls Lu Guang's hand and heads towards their destination with Xiao Ling. Yes, this has to mean that they are doing it together. With Xiao Ling, the two of them won't bear everything by themselves either, as they also have Xiao Ling by their side. So in other words, it's like Cheng Xiaoshi is saying, don't do this alone. We're doing it together. We have Xiao Ling too. So come with me. We will head towards our happy ending together. I think the three of them going through the challenges and obstacles and hardships together will be the key for the Link Click series to have a happy ending. Or maybe I'm just being delusional. Anyway, These different moments shared earlier verify how much Cheng Xiaoshi wants Lu Guang to be a part of his life, how worried he is about Lu Guang's well-being, how important Lu Guang's safety is to him, and how he cannot let Lu Guang do things alone, much less be alone. They have to be together. They have to do things together. They have to reach their goal together. Oh my gosh. Cheng Xiaoshi really loves and cares about his best friend so much. So, this scene is not simply a moment wherein Cheng Xiaoshi asks Lu Guang to play with him. Cheng Xiaoshi wasn't just holding Lu Guang's hand here either. It's much more than that. There is a deeper meaning behind these actions. A seemingly simple action could relay different messages but the same ultimate meaning. Well, that's how I see it at least. And what about you? What is your interpretation of this scene? What did you think or feel whenever you see this scene from the opening team? Or when you see other scenes like it? Well, whether you agree with what I had been saying or not, but you have enjoyed this video somehow, I would appreciate it if you click the like button. That always motivates me to create more videos like this. Actually, this video was originally just a portion of another one. There are other things to say about the opening team, like when Lu Guang was being split into two on this scene. But I already had so much to tell on this particular action alone, so I needed to split the video for the sake of finishing something already. Oh, if you want to be notified of when the next link click video will be ready, make sure to subscribe to the channel, okay? Thanks, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again. Take care!